Welcome to Random Review Fridays, a segment on this channel where we pick random movies from my collection and see if they have anything in common. For today we have 2 action films, and I also have, once again, a great special guest, Christian.
What's up, Doug?
Everything good, man?
Yeah.
How you been? So, the first movie we have today is the latest film from Steven Seagal.
Steve Seagal is pretty much a potato wearing a do-rag, fighting. That's what he used to become now.
And that was the end of our review. No, I'm kidding. This movie is basically about the legit story. Is Steven Seagal is playing a former special ops.
Let me tell you what this movie is about.
Okay, go ahead.
So Frank Castle and his family were in Central Park, and they were caught in the middle of some like mob and gang like turf war or whatever, and his whole family was killed. So then he met Brad Pitt. He met Brad Pitt from Fight Club somewhere. Is that what it's about?
So you're basically saying that this is the Fight Club meets Punisher?
It's a complete fucking ripoff. But yeah, tell the plot of this.
Well, yeah, I mean, according to the back cover of this DVD Blu-ray combo pack, it's saying that this movie is about a special operative named Robert Sykes, played by Steven Seagal, who witnessed his family getting murdered, and now he is making a promise to kill pretty much rid the city of all the criminals. And there's only one other guy who has worked with him before, who is now working for the FBI, who knows about him, who knows his tactics, and he's helping the local police. So basically, this is a ripoff of The Punisher. And apparently it's a ripoff of Season 2 of Daredevil, which I haven't seen, but you told me it is.
Yeah, because that goes into the origin of the Punisher.
But please tell us, what did you think of Code of Honor?
Oh, I loved it. This movie is amazing. It's a fucking piece of shit movie. It's not entertaining. Like, this is a straight-to-video action movie.
Yeah.
One, you need to have fast-paced cuts. You need to have fucking good action scenes. You need to have exotic locations.
So you're telling me you're not mesmerized by that sequence of him falling down from the building with a rope?
Oh,
that
the
really
worst,
terrible
the
green
worst
screen?
like CGI ever. I'm just like, ooh,
yeah,
just standing trying to be Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, like Seagal, I have a love-hate thing for him. Like, for those who have seen my videos before, I like his first 5 films that he did in the late 80s, early 90s, and some films that he did in between. But for the past 10, 12 years, all his movies are pretty much terrible. They're, for me at least, everyone I think has a guilty pleasure. My guilty pleasure is Steven Seagal. Some would say they're so bad they're just plain bad, but for me it's so bad they're good because he is obviously really, really fat, and he's using a stunt double that looks nothing like him, and he's getting even lazier by appearing less and less in his films.
Yeah.
Like, he's not really that much of a main character in this film. It's really the other guy, played by Craig Sheffer, who's the guy who knows about him. And there's a plot twist in the film that we'll let you know, guys. We'll put a marker somewhere here letting you know. Spoilers, but we're not getting there yet.
Yeah, well, to me, it's just, it comes to a point when you're watching these movies that you stop paying attention to the movie and just start getting annoyed. Yeah. Because this guy, he doesn't emote or actually try to act anymore. He's out there and he's whispering.
Yeah.
He's whispering.
In a club.
Yeah, there's a scene where they're in a nightclub talking. Just like here, right across from each other, in a nightclub where the music's bumping.
Yeah.
And
everybody gonna die.
Yeah, and he thinks he's black.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Seagal. I don't know if he had like a really big bump in the head where he lost his identity and he really thinks he grew up in the hood, because he doesn't sound like a black guy at all.
And there's a part in the movie where he always puts his hands on his belly like this.
It's like this. Everybody gonna die.
And he squints. Yeah, he says, everybody gonna die. Like,
the funny, and I think I told you this before, Seagal is the only person who can make a real goatee look fake.
Yeah.
This goatee, this is his new trend. The do-rag, which to cover his really fake hair, which is a really bad hair transplant, and a fake-looking goatee.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend this movie.
No. This guy told me, watch this movie. It's a good movie.
No. You're confusing it with another movie that I told you about called Force of Execution.
Oh, maybe. Ooh, yeah.
And that one's not even that great, but at least with that one, it's passable. To say a Seagal movie is good it's a stretch, you know.
Yeah.
This one is bad, so let's talk about here's a little spoiler, so if you don't, not that it really matters because this movie's pretty much shit, but let's talk into the spoilers of this film. Like, what's the big twist?
What was the big twist? Apparently, the guy looking for Seagal turns out to be the guy actually doing all the murders.
They're both one and the same person.
They're the same person. So in reality, like, Steven Seagal doesn't even exist.
No.
No.
But here's the funniest part. Seagal not only does not exist, a twist ending cannot kill him either. Because at the end of the film, we find out that he gives a little kid at the end a little baseball glove or some kind, so he survived.
Well, there's a part also where, like, one of them doesn't exist. One of them's imaginary or something.
Yeah.
And they're fucking fighting each other on the rooftops.
Yeah.
Just
patty
okay. If you think you wasted your time in this movie, just wait till you get to the rooftop fight scene. It's pretty much two fat pieces of shit patty caking each other. Just like Seagal's patty cake will put anyone's sister to shame. Like, for real. Like, his patty caking is insane.
Yeah. That's one of them is imaginary.
And they're fucking fighting each other in the final scene of the movie.
Yeah.
One of the final scenes.
Yeah.
How do you fight someone imaginary?
It makes no sense. Like, but you gotta admit, at least for me, I find it hilarious. I really find it hilarious because this is a guy who, at one point of his life, made decent movies. Not amazing movies, but he made decent action films.
Yeah.
But he's gone down so downhill that it's just... This is really... I wouldn't say this is the worst movie I've ever seen.
No.
There are some entertaining parts, but they're at the expense of like unintentional humor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So.
And I'll tell you this: the two people that fight the most are the least fit people in the movie.
Yeah.
There's all these cops and
the only
they're
reason
super fit, and then here comes Seagal, like being an action hero. Get out of here.
And the only reason the other guy, Craig Sheffer, fights pretty decently with the knife is because he is Seagal. So that's the only reason he's as good as him. Because they're the same person.
Oh, yeah.
So the only person that can beat an imaginary person, even if it's Steven Seagal, is himself. This movie's a piece of shit. I admit it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
It's a bad movie.
But I won't recommend it. I have a problem. I know this.
He does. He owns every fucking Seagal movie.
Yeah, I even own Against the Dark, which is like the worst.
Whoa, that movie's bad.
Yeah, it's him against vampires and him only doing one movement.
I'm a little bit like you, where I have to watch his shitty movies, but I don't buy them.
Yeah, I don't do that with other films. Like, well, I buy a lot of shit, but with Seagal, I have to watch it. I don't know why. It makes me feel better. Like, it really does. Like, hey man, I didn't work out today, but at least I'm not as fat and as Seagal.
Another thing is, like, there's tons of CG blood. Like, all the blood is CGI blood.
Yeah,
it looks pretty bad, for the exception of there's like one headshot where the guy's like, I think it was like some sort of congressman or something. He's like getting into the car and his head gets blown up, and that's the only scene that looked good. Yeah,
like that's very common now. Even in Expendables, they did.
It's just cheaper.
It's cheaper, and if they're submitting the film to the MPAA, they can get
take off some blood. If they want to.
And it's a lot easier.
Don't watch this movie.
No,
it's
don't.
A piece of shit.
Yeah, unless you want to watch it for its unintentional humor, which you have to really be a Seagal fan to appreciate. So now we're going into the second film that we viewed, another action film. This one starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Van Damme, a much better action star than Seagal, in my opinion at least.
Would you say this was a total Van Dammage?
So the movie we're talking about is Pound of Flesh, which you're cracking people up over here, Mr. Jokester.
Yeah.
So
tell us what it's about.
Pound of Flesh is pretty much about Van Damme is 3 days away from giving his kidney to his niece, and so he's somewhere in Thailand, and he gets kidnapped, and they steal his kidney.
Yeah.
3 days before he needs to give away his kidney to
Very convenient.
Of course. So then he goes on this path of revenge to get his kidney back. Right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah. I like the movie. It's not by any means amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is very convenient in this film. Like you just said, the whole 3-day thing.
Yeah.
But it works.
Well, because this is a direct-to-video action movie. That's what it should have. It should It should have a ridiculous plot.
Yeah.
It should be set in a foreign location.
Right.
Right, like a fish out of water place for these like Americans or whoever it is, and it should have cool action sequences, which it does.
Yeah, you can. I think we both agreed that this movie is 20 times better than Code of Honor.
Than Code of Honor, for sure.
Yeah.
Like this movie's watchable, and like at times you could tell Van Damme's like phoning it in, like not really trying.
Yeah.
But it works out.
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining. I thought that they took good use of the location, even though in certain scenes you can tell there's a lot of green screen.
Yeah. Every time there's like a conversation in the car, there's a very, very poorly done green screen effect.
Or in the club when they're fighting and stuff.
That one scene in the they're fighting in the club.
Yeah.
And I guess Jean-Claude Van Damme couldn't be there for that scene, so every time there was a close up on his face, it would be green screened.
Yeah, and it
so
doesn't
I'm pretty sure the person fighting was like a stunt double.
Yeah.
And then it would just cut to his face being like, "Oh, I'm kicking ass."
Yeah, and it's just so obvious that it's green screen.
Yeah, it's super terrible.
Yeah. The movie had a lot of surprising twists, some of which are predictable, but again, it works for this type of film. It's direct to video.
Yeah.
And it has those ingredients that you were mentioning before: exotic locations, cool action sequences.
It does.
And the film, for the most part, doesn't take itself that seriously.
No, it tries to be a little like serious with the whole religion thing. There's like,
him
like,
carrying a Bible.
His brother is very religious, and he's like a person who's been bad his whole life and shit like that. But
like going back to the whole convenient thing, like it's curious that the reason why they don't get along is because the little girl. This is spoiler territory for those who are going to see Pound of Flesh. You find out that Van Damme is actually the father of the little girl. That's why he's compatible to give the kidney.
Yeah.
And that's one reason, a particular reason why him and his brother are not talking.
Yeah, and they also grew up separately, remember? Because the way they explain...
And they look nothing alike.
The way they explain Van Damme's shitty accent is that, he lived with my father in France, and therefore he talks like an idiot. Yeah. Compared to, the other guy who grew up in America and everything.
And it just so happens that the prostitute who...
I didn't get that. I didn't get why they needed that. What they did is that there's a prostitute that lured Seagal... Van Damme.
Yeah, they're interchangeable.
Yeah, there's this prostitute that pretty much made Van Damme fall for her, and that's how they took his kidney.
Yeah.
She, for some reason, looked exactly like his brother's ex-wife, who's now deceased in this movie. Yeah. Why did they have to make that connection? Like why?
Yeah, it's a bit too much.
Yeah.
But that's one of the few nitpicks I would have about the film. You can't ask much for a direct-to-video movie.
It works because it's like crazy-ass story that I was watching it with Maria, actually, and she goes, "What the fuck, man?" Okay, yeah, that would happen.
Let's talk about the awkward scene where Van Damme is holding his 11-year-old niece, who looks like she's like 15.
Yeah, they're like, she's like fucking 14 years old. They're like, "Don't you want to hold her?" Like she's a toddler or a baby. And then Van Damme just sitting there like holding her. The movie's enjoyable, even though it's ridiculous. And you mentioned the Bible scene. There's a scene where Van Damme grabs a Bible from his hotel.
Yeah,
and
asking what's the Bible
He
for?
starts kicking ass with it, right? He starts like kicking people like asses and shit and gets it all bloody and whatnot. And his brother's like, "What's the point of the Bible?" Van Damme's reply is amazing. He says, "There's plenty of blood in the Bible. Why not put some on it?"
When I spill some on it, yeah.
When I spill some on it.
It's ridiculous, and it's funny because you would think that whole Bible thing would lead to something else in the story, and it doesn't. It's just for that one-liner mostly.
Yeah.
But it still works. It's kind of a throwback to a certain degree to the older 90s Van Damme films, and that's one thing that I can commend more about Van Damme versus Seagal. Van Damme's more recent direct-to-video films are actually on par or perhaps a little better than his later 90s films that he did, which were clunkers.
Yeah.
Movies like Universal Soldier: The Return, Knockoff, and
Knockoff was terrible. Double Team?
Double Team. Those really terrible films. So they're way better, whereas Seagal keep just releasing trash and shit. So
yeah, I don't know. I guess this movie really knew what it had to do. Just be
Yeah,
entertaining, be
it was
ridiculous,
yeah.
be out there and just do it.
Yeah, it
Fight scenes were entertaining. There was no patty caking involved.
No. The really cool sequence was, which is in the trailer, where you see Van Damme doing the split and trying to like crack this guy's neck against a car.
Oh yeah, and he's trying to hold the car back from driving away.
Yeah, that sequence was pretty cool. It just shows that Van Damme still has the ability to do those crazy splits
And stuff like that. He's got all that down still.
Yeah,
but he does look old as fuck.
Yeah, you gotta keep it in mind that this is a guy who had a really terrible life. He used a lot of cocaine, a lot of heroin, and he aged terribly. Sadly, he doesn't look that great anymore, but he still has the action chops.
It works for this movie because the whole time he's out there kicking ass with like a kidney, just one kidney, and like a giant scar in his back.
So it really looks like this guy is sick.
Yeah, it works because he looks like he's fucking.
Even in the last couple of minutes, where this guy's like pretty much almost
Yeah.
Don't want to ruin anything.
There's some other things that we could talk about, but it would get too much into like spoiler territory.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If you like Seagal, if you want to turn off your brain, I mean
Van Damme.
Again,
they're interchangeable with some degrees. Yeah.
And you want to turn off your brain and just sit there and watch some cool action sequences.
Yeah, it's a good Sunday
plot.
afternoon action flick. You don't have to think too much about it. It's disposable action, but well done disposable action.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you won't remember the movie in a couple of days, an exception of a couple of cool sequences, like the one I mentioned before with the split.
Yeah.
But it definitely shows that Van Damme puts a little bit more effort into his films than Seagal.
And that he still has it.
So
like, he could still, like, keep up, with at least with the fighting or the fighting sequences, rather than, patty caking.
So what can you say these two films have in common? Nothing.
To be honest. Because
Yeah.
that
Even outside of that fact that they're both direct-to-video action films.
that did everything wrong.
Yeah, and this one did pretty much everything.
That movie was not fast-paced.
It wasn't.
Slow.
It was slow.
There was a lot of fucking police office drama of them just talking nonsense that I didn't care about.
Yeah. And
Seagal
just in a rooftop trying to kill people.
There's a scene. It's just Seagal playing with a fucking rifle.
Yeah.
Like, he's not even like setting it up or anything.
He's just
cool.
playing
He's just
around
playing with it. It's ridiculous.
And I think he tries reloading it several times. You know how you cock a gun, to make yourself look cool? I think Seagal does like 4 times. So Pound of Flesh, I recommend it if you're looking for a derivative action film. You watch a Sunday afternoon, not think too much about it. It's entertaining.
Yeah. If you have to
Can't say the same thing about Code of Honor.
No, Code of Honor, like, just ignore it, throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
Check this one out for sure, though. Especially if you like Van Damme movies, because it's pretty good. His acting's not that great. He phoned it in, but movie's entertaining as fuck.
Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, take care.